Hey there, everybody. Pete Pardo here from Sea Tranquility. Welcome to another edition of Monday Night Must See TV with the Hudson Valley Squares. We've got in the house tonight, we got Chris Sallow, Sydney Taylor, Ryan Scow, and Thor, otherwise known as Steve Keeler.
I am not Steve Keeler. I am the mighty Thor.
He's the Canadian rock band Thor, not like the God of Thunder.
Right.
Yes, I am the Canadian. I will blow up a hot water bottle as soon as you get done taping.
An important distinction.
And star in a bad horror movie.
That's right. That's right. So tonight, everybody, this is kind of like an extension of the spooky albums for Halloween season show that I did every day throughout the month of October. So I basically kind of like gave you all my stuff all month. So we are a day after Thanksgiving, after Halloween, and I decided to let the squares who are in the house tonight to talk about their favorite three kind of spooky albums that they pull out from their collection. I'm not going to give any picks tonight, just so everybody knows I'm also pretty under the weather. I think I got food poisoning last night. So for everybody who's wondering why I didn't post the new November show today, which is the 30 most important albums in the history of heavy metal and hard rock. I'm hopefully I've not been able to do anything today, so I'm here now, but hopefully that will start tomorrow if I'm feeling a little bit better. But I'll play catch up and you'll get the entire month, so don't worry about that. So with all that being said, I'm just going to kind of play spectator tonight. We're going to go Chris, Sydney, Ryan, and Steve. So Chris, what do you got for us?
Okay, I'm doing all three or just one?
We'll probably go through this pretty quick. So you can do your first one. We'll go one at a time. Yeah.
Okay, cool. First one. These are records that I think are kind of spooky because they're horror movie soundtracks, but I think they're exceptional horror movie soundtracks. Starting on the bottom, this is from 1968. This version is "They Won't Stay Dead," which is the soundtrack to the original Night of the Living Dead movie, directed by George Romero. They had like no money when they were making this movie, so they went and they just pulled like catalog library tracks that they could use, and everything they took is just like fucking scary. Like it's kind of like the Universal. It reminds me of like the soundtracks from the Universal monsters, but like everything's like cranked up, and lots of like screeching horns and weird sounds, and it's cool, and it's an awesome movie, and the soundtrack I think is pretty scary.
I think that film and the music in the film is great for its simplicity.
Oh yeah,
to me, it's one of the things I love so much about it.
Yeah, just that. All my movies, the soundtracks I picked, they all seem to have that sense of dread, and I think it definitely comes across in the music for Night of the Living Dead.
Cool. Good choice. All right, Sydney, what do you got for your dread?
Cool. So yeah, I decided to break out my Killer Clowns from Outer Space shirt tonight.
Nice.
Knew we were doing something spooky.
Love that movie. Love that.
I know
movie.
it's one of those movies that's so bad it's so good. Like it's
absolutely.
it's
They're
great.
still talking about a sequel.
I
All
can
these years later. Oh.
If that ever happens, that'll be great. But I'm not holding my breath for that. But
no, not at this point.
So first is a record from one of my favorite newer bands that is a pretty controversial band. I already know Ryan hates them. Probably guess where I'm going with this. But you either love them or hate them. I personally love them. I'm going with the band Ghost. And it's really funny because for a band that I love so much, I have the hardest goddamn time pronouncing their album titles. Like it's just so I'm going personally with, can I speak tonight? I always want to say Meloria or is that right? I always read it and I'm like, every time I read it, my brain just like doesn't.
I think it's Meliora.
Meliora, yeah.
That's what I thought it was.
I love the band. I just have the hardest damn time saying the record titles. But I love the band Ghost personally. I've always loved them. I'm a big melodic rock person, which I'm sure everybody watching knows that by now, but I'm a big melodic person when it comes to my metal specifically. So that's exactly what Ghost has given me. And so I've always loved them for that reason. And I mean, I know that when we're on the spectrum of bands that are super creepy and have the direct music to match it all the time, I know that can kind of be up in the air for some people for Ghost. But I think that this record, although I think the debut is a little bit creepier, I personally like this one a little bit more. And it's very atmospheric. Their music is always kind of, they've got the instrumentals that are on the creepier side that kind of have that Halloween vibe, which is what I was thinking about, especially for this topic. And I mean, it's got Square Hammer on it, which is probably the song that if you don't know Ghost very well, you know that song. And they've always been big on the kind of like the Satan themes and the devil themes, you know, even if they're not the heaviest band ever. So yeah, that's the first one I'm going with. I love Ghost, so thought of them immediately for this.
Good
It's a
choice.
very, it's a perfect occult record.
Yeah, oh yeah, big time. Yeah, in my series in October, I actually picked the first album
Okay.
because that's kind of the more evil sounding one, but I think Meliora is the better album, actually. That's probably my favorite.
Really?
Yeah, I like that album a lot.
It's a great record. I mean, they always have put out stuff that I've loved, but it's a great record. And like I said, they got, like Steve said, the occult kind of spooky whole thing to them.
They're great.
Yeah.
Yep.
Ortha's a great band. And Scott, would you please take off that horrible mask? You're looking awfully ugly. Oh, wait a minute. He took the mask off already. See, I was told to wear a mask. He had a mask on, and before he went taping, he took his mask off and decided he would be Tor Johnson.
Tor Johnson.
Nice.
Oh, I see Thor's got jokes here.
Thor is a very jokey guy. I'll pretend I'm the singer from Ghost. I tell a lot of jokes.
There we go.
There you
So
go.
now your father, Chief.
The executioner is back.
I got the
Now, Scott, you look much better now. We're not scared
Thank
of too
you.
many small children tonight now.
Thank you.
Very good.
It's supposed to be a Cthulhu, but I got the mustache like I tie girls to railroad tracks here.
Oh my goodness. They must be very small girls.
That's a weird thing to say, Thor.
We've got
They're very short shoestrings here.
Yeah, I bought this for like $5 off Amazon. Give me a break. Come on.
Oh, very good.
It's been sitting
What
in
a
a bag
bargain.
for years. You know what? It's really fucking itchy, so it's coming off. Sorry, Thor.
The dog won't be able to wash your face with that on either.
Sorry to let you down, Thor. No. Yeah, the dog will definitely not be able to wash my face with that up. Is it my turn?
Yes, it is.
Oh, cool. So, yeah, I printed out labels this time. Sometimes the bands I pick, the names, people in the comments are like, could you say that again? So this time I'm going to go with a band from Poland, my first choice. It's a black metal band, but it's kind of like an old school black metal band, not all crazy blast beats, a little slower. I don't want to say melodic, but it's kind of easy to listen to. The band's called Cultist Ghouls, and the album's called Hembane. Hold on. You can't hear that? There it is.
Very good. We can read that very well.
Pause the video
Impressive.
now.
That's the first one. So these guys are cool because it's black metal, but it's very theatrical. The songs are very long. They go through all these movements. And each album kind of goes into these different topics, like occult topics, witchcraft, Satanism, and stuff. So this one, it's called Henbane. Obviously, it's a toxic plant. And it's also subtitled A Sonic Compendium of the Black Arts. You know, and the songs are like The Passion of a Sorceress, Vintage Black Magic, The Devil's Intimate. So it's all about, you know, Satanism, witchcraft, and like old school, like old Eastern European witchcraft, obviously being from Poland. It's just a creepy album. The vocalist is, I'm going to say, the creepiest vocalist in all of black metal, maybe all of metal, up there with Attila. The guy's voice is just, he does all these crazy voices. I'm not really a Mike Patton fan, but it has that same effect where he kind of goes through all these different voices, you know, all over the place. And you're like, is that the same fucking guy? You know, kind of like screeching, like maniacal laughter, like deep growls. So that's my first one, is Cultist Ghouls from Poland, and the album Henbane from 2013. They've got several albums, and this is the second one, and this is my favorite. So really good stuff. Even though it's black metal, it's kind of, I don't know, I compare it a little bit to like early Bathory, Celtic Frost. Like it's very old school black metal, not modern. Nothing like Emperor or anything like that. So yeah, good stuff. That's my first choice.
And do not eat that plant. It's very dangerous.
Yeah, don't eat him. Oh, thank you, Steve.
No, do not eat.
Thank you, Thor, for the little botany tip.
Very good. Thor is trying to be helpful with his fans. All right.
Speaking of the Norse gods, your turn.
I did not pick any Norse songs tonight because, of course, we are not talking about Amon Amarth and Viking metal. But my no particular order. I guess I will start off with Typo Negative's 1993 Bloody Kisses. And I'm not doing my Thor voice anymore because I'm really Steve Keeler. Wow, I had everybody fooled.
Wow, you had me fooled. Holy
Darn
Holy smokes!
Who would have thought?
And Bloody Kisses, of course, is one of those, and Typo Negative is something that comes around to me and like it's October, and you know, Peter Steele and the whole look of that band and everything they were pushing out, and you know, the whole vibe. Of course, Black #1, Lily Munsters, Ain't Got Nothing on You. And the whole, you know, it's almost like it's kind of like you know, it's kind of like the Munsters meets gothic rock, and you know, they're one of the ones that did it the best. I guess Christian Woman would be on the list from that album too. And you know, Bloody Kisses, Death in the Family. I love the track Blood and Fire. I think that's one of their best songs. And Typo Negative in my top 3, I guess, for this season of.
There you go. You're gonna make a lot of people happy with that, Steve, because I got a lot of people who are like, I can't believe you didn't mention any Typo Negative in your entire.
I can't believe it either.
I'm not a fan, so that's why. But
That's weird. You
I was
never like
listening
them at
to
all.
their cover of the song Black Sabbath the other day.
Yeah.
It's a good fucking cover. Like they do that really good justice, and it's creepy as hell.
Pete, did you not like Carnivore either? Or?
yeah, I didn't mind Carnivore too much, but
Okay.
they're a little different.
They're much different. Yeah, but
Oh yeah, carnivore rules.
All right, Chris, back to you.
All right, back to me. This is from a show I went to a couple years ago. It was one of my favorite Halloweens. I think it was 2018 or maybe it was 2017. Pete and I did our top 10 favorite horror movies of all time. One of my favorites is Lucio Fulci's The Beyond, which is an amazing movie. And
Makes no sense.
say again, Ray?
Makes no fucking sense.
Yeah, it makes no sense, but it's
But I love
Italian, so it's not supposed to make sense. But it is awesome. It's definitely like just a nightmare. And a couple of years ago on Halloween night, I went to a screening of The Beyond where they had the original composer, Fabio Frizzi, came in from Italy with a full live band, and they set up under the movie screen, and they played the live score while the movie played, and it was an awesome experience. And this is the live album that he did on that tour, and it's pretty awesome. If you haven't seen the movie or the soundtrack, it's worth checking out. Definitely kind of a haunting score. There's like a chorus, and they keep sort of repeating something in like Latin or something. I don't know what the fuck language it is, but it creeps me out. And it's really cool, and it's an awesome movie. So that's my pick, The Beyond.
Nice. I got to hear that one these days.
Good. It is really good.
Yeah.
All right, Sydney, back to you.
Cool. So when we were talking about creepy albums, I knew I had to pull from my bank of my favorite person ever. He's the king of creepy, king of shock rock. So obviously I had to go with an album from Alice Cooper, and I was in between two, and I'll say the second one kind of as an honorable mention, but the one that I wanted to go with the most is probably my favorite record from, you know, kind of like new Alice Cooper, you know, from 2000s on, you know, the 2000s and 2010s, and that is 2008's Along Came a Spider. Just such a great record. Alice is very well known, of course, for his concept records, and the whole album is centered around a serial killer who is kind of obsessed with spiders, and he's supposed to take a leg from each of his victims, so he has 8 legs, and it's a huge kind of concept record, and in my opinion, vastly underrated. A lot of people, if you're not an Alice Cooper fan, don't really know it too well, but it's such a great record. There's heavy songs at Vengeance is Mine, which is a big hit off of that had Slash on it, and it's a really great album. So when we're talking about spooky albums, it doesn't get spookier than a whole concept record about a serial killer. So that was that. And then the second record that I was really close to picking kind of as an honorable mention in the same Alice Cooper realm is Dada, which is one of the Black Eyed albums that came out in 1983. And specifically the song on that record called Formerly Warmer, which is like the creepiest goddamn song I've ever heard in my life. It's just so strange. That whole album, that whole era of Alice is very strange. But that song is just, I heard it the first time, but I actually was a little like, I kind of want to turn this off because this is really weird. So I had to give that a shout. But two really creepy records. His whole catalog is pretty creepy, but those are the two that I went with for Alice.
Yeah, Along Came a Spider is probably one of his top 2 or 3 albums, I think, post 2000.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Good
So
one.
good.
It's a good one. All right, Ryan, back to you.
All right, so next choice, I'm going with a long-running band started in the '90s. They put out a ton of albums. For a couple of years, they were on Relapse Records from the late '90s to the early 2000s. That band is Today Is the Day, and the album is their 2002 album, Sadness Will Prevail. Hold on, I got a little thing.
Didn't see this one coming.
Nice.
Oh, that's an easy one. Come on.
That's it, but you know what? People, if I mumble or something, people might
Yeah.
not hear. I wanted to make that up. So
Sometimes he mumbles.
thanks a lot, Steve. They've always been a creepy band. They've always had they're kind of a metal band, but there's a lot of shit going on. There's some hard rock in there. They're difficult to explain. They don't really sound like any other band. So it's just kind of one of those deals. You just have to listen to them. This is a double album. It was very long. There's a lot going on, but there's this track kind of at the end of the second disc. It's 23 minutes. It's called Never Answer the Phone. It samples this. There's a 2000 movie with Guy Pearce called Memento. I don't know if you ever seen it.
Oh yeah.
His memory, and it samples this one segment where he's like, I'm laying in bed, and I think the girl went to the bathroom, but I'm not sure. He's like, because he has no short-term memory in the movie. Everything he experiences, he immediately forgets. The sample is just so fucking haunting, and this track just builds up and up and up for 23 minutes. It's the creepiest song I've ever heard in my life, hands down. So, and they've always been a creepy band. This whole album, it's just the vocals, Steve Austin, not the wrestler, the musician. It's his band. His
Or the
vocals
$6
are
million,
very
not to be confused with the $6 Million Man.
Also, yeah. So there's multiple
Steve Austin, yes.
Yeah, this is the third Steve Austin. So, this is one of the last albums what they did when they were on Relapse Records. One of my favorites. There's no title or anything on it, so it's a good thing I printed that out, Steve.
Yeah, it's a good thing.
I'm going with Today Is the Day and Sadness Will Prevail. Awesome band, well worth checking out. A little weird, not too weird, but a little weird, but recommend them.
All right, back to the clown. Steve.
Jimmy Bogo, the clown. Yes. I wore it a little too early tonight, but my next pick off of my list. I was going to talk about Ghost, but Sydney took Ghost, so that's on my honorable mentions. Ghost, the first album. I could be any of the albums actually, because it all fits in that thing. I'm going to go with something a little less known. 1985's Tales of Terror by Hallows Eve. Of course, the song Hallows Eve, it's going to put it right in for Halloween, a type song. And I remember listening to that a lot, back in the day. We actually interviewed them on the Rock Fantasy Files several months ago, and kind of remembered how powerful that band was. And Hallows Eve, Tales of Terror, I'd like to just take a mention of that
That's a
tonight.
great.
Well, I haven't heard that in ages.
Yeah.
You haven't, yeah, revisit it. I think you'll be surprised how well it holds up.
It holds up really well.
That and Death and Insanity, both. They're strong records.
Oh, Lethal Tendency is one of the greatest songs of all time.
Mhm.
Plunging to Megadeth is fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Yes, that's a heavy song. Yeah.
Heavy as shit.
Tommy's still going at it. Tommy Stewart's still going at it. In fact, I just saw a picture of him. I think he's playing some kind of a festival this weekend somewhere. I'm not sure if it's with Hallows Eve or one of his other projects.
Cool. Good choice. All right, Chris, you're fine.
All right, back to me. I saw I know I mentioned this something with Pete. Again, this is from my top 10 favorite horror movies of all time. When I saw the TV spot for this on Channel 5 in 1977, it scared the shit out of me. It's probably the scariest thing I've ever seen on related to a movie. And of course, the scary skull thing in the TV spot is not even in the movie, but it's from Dario Argento's masterpiece in 1977, which is Suspiria, with music from the Italian 70s prog rock band Goblin. This is the version. I have the CD that came in the triple disc DVD, and this is the CD version. I have it on vinyl too somewhere, and it's awesome. It is just so fucking creepy. There's a lot of weird sounds and very low, quiet voices that just, jump out. I know Tom G. Warrior was a big fan, and he kind of ripped off one of the songs from the soundtrack for the track "Dance Macabre" on from Celtic Frost. But man, the soundtrack is just creepy as all fucking hell. I got Suspiria on 4K a couple months ago, and I watched the movie cranked in my garage, and with the 7.1 surround sound, man, those voices just pop out, and I'm like, whoa, whoa, by myself in the dark. So it's a pretty scary soundtrack to go to a pretty scary movie, and I love it, and that's my pick, Suspiria, from the band Goblin, from the Dario Argento movie Suspiria.
Hell yeah, that's a great fucking movie.
Yeah.
Can't go wrong with Goblin, man. All the soundtracks are great. Their original stuff is great too.
Oh yeah,
Really are.
an amazing band.
Yeah.
You would have got through the top 3 of Chris Allo on this Halloween episode without mentioning the Misfits. I probably would have lost a lot of money on a bet.
Well, Pete said scary albums, not like albums we listen to at Halloween. So
okay.
if we were doing albums,
I took it as albums listened to Halloween. More than
okay,
scary.
that's I could have, that was my
Yeah,
interpretation.
I know it's all gray area, but it's cool.
If we do next year, if we do albums to listen to at Halloween, it will be like Misfits and Samhain and somebody else.
Yeah, cool. I always get it wrong.
All right.
Don't feel
Close
bad,
enough.
Steve. Don't feel
All right,
bad.
Sydney, what do you got?
Close my mask on.
I'm gonna be hearing that
my-
clown voice all night now, man.
I hope you feel better, Peter. I hope you feel better.
Ew, stop.
I'm scaring Sydney. Sydney's not a clown fan. I can see. I have a
I
different
am
one.
wearing my clown shirt, so there you go. All
I
right.
have a better one that's on the ceiling that actually has big poofy hair. These are
Oh,
all.
please,
These are
please.
just also cool from the 70s and the 60s because they were made with the glow ink, so they're actually
I'm
just
scared.
perfect black lightroom. So I had to pull them out. Sorry.
No, you're fine. So for my number 1, I had to go with just one of the creepiest, spookiest records, sound wise, album cover wise, that I'm surprised Chris Allen didn't pick, but I will pick. I have to go with the first Sabbath record, which to me was just a no-brainer. As I've said before, I grew up listening to metal, and my parents would have Sabbath on, and my dad especially, and I remember just hearing that title track for the first time, and it scared the shit out of me. It was just creepy and weird, and to me that is the birth of heavy metal and what was to come. Everything after that was based on what that was. And I mean, I think that you can't recreate that song, and just even how creepy the cover is. It's just, I remember seeing that and going, what the fuck? Like, this is it's so weird and creepy and cool. So to me, that was just a no-brainer, and I had to pick the debut Sabbath for my number 1.
So a question for everybody, because I picked that also during the month of October, because I think you're right, it's a no-brainer. If you were to pick like a second Sabbath album that would fit this kind of topic, which one would you pick?
Master Reality.
I'm gonna maybe Born Again.
I'd say Master
Oh.
Reality.
Born Again, yeah.
Born Again's fucking
If you're
creepy.
thinking outside the Ozzy material, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I Born Again, yeah. I mean, if I'm thinking of the cover and the content, and it's just so
Devilish.
out there. Yeah, maybe Born Again, yeah.
And I know I'm biased, but I think Mob Rules is pretty creepy.
How about
Well,
Sabbath,
bro.
Bloody Sabbath?
I was also thinking
Yeah,
Sabbath.
good
Sabbath.
one.
Bloody Sabbath has
Yeah.
some really creepy tracks.
Yeah,
That is a good one.
Headless Cross.
there's a few of them. There's a few of them.
Yeah.
I think you can't really go wrong with any Sabbath
No.
record like that. They're all kind of creepy.
Just Never Say Die.
I was just gonna say,
No,
except for Never Say
forbidden.
Die.
Forbidden. And
Or Forbidden. Yeah, those are both
100
trash.
times where it can't be mentioned in the same sentence as Never Say Die.
I like it, but I don't know if like Technical Ecstasy is a good Halloween season.
No,
No.
no.
I don't think so.
But yeah, that first album is just screams creepy, like naturally, like without even trying to be really creepy. It's just
Yeah.
like
Yeah, some of the Tony Martin albums are really good, but none of them are really creepy to me. They're just good heavy metal.
No, yeah. I would agree.
They don't sound
The
creepy at all.
little
The
at
Devil and
times-
Daughter. Too polished.
And I really like the Tony Martin stuff, but in I don't know. In my old age, I am finding more faults with some of the, some of the background vocals and some of the syrupiness on some of the Tony Martin material.
Syrupiness. I like that's a good that's a good descriptor. Yeah, it doesn't stack up to the other stuff for me, but it's still I just consider
Yeah,
it
no,
good.
I still like it, but
They're just different. Yeah. They're
Yeah.
a little slicker, I think. And maybe that's,
Yeah, that's a good,
Yeah.
that's a good partoism. It's good, slicker.
Slicker and syrupy. I like it.
All right, Ryan, your final pick for today.
All right, I'm going as far off the reservation as I've ever fucking gone with this.
Oh my God.
No, I really was thinking about this, and I'm like, like Chris just said, well, there's albums you listen to at Halloween, like Sabbath, Merciful Fate, Misfits, and then there's albums you put on, and you're like driving because that's the canary in the coal mine. Is if you can listen to it driving alone in the car at night in like kind of like an empty area out in the countryside. If it creeps you out, then it's good and fucking creepy. So that's kind of like my standard for this.
There's
So I'm
probably
going
Michael Jackson.
Well, no,
That's creepy for other reasons. Let's
Okay.
And I like Thriller and the album right before Thriller. I forget what album that was, but I like those
Off
two
the
albums.
Wall.
Off the Wall.
Yeah, that one. Good album.
All right,
Yeah.
go ahead. Sorry. I ruined it.
And anyway, Steve. So I had to pick the creepiest album I own because if I listen to it in that setting, it still creeps me the fuck out. It's not metal. It's not rock. It's a weird offshoot. That's why I said I'm going way, way deep into the fucking woods here. It's a weird offshoot genre called death industrial, which I think only 12 people on the planet know, but I'm sure they'll comment if they do. Yeah. So the band's from Nyack, New York, great town of Nyack.
Wow.
And here's the album. The band's called Navicon Portrait Technologies, and the album's called The Church of Dead Girls from 2002. And
Of course it does.
it comes in this cool little fucking like A5 size thing, but no, it's kind of it's analogous to like horror. If I had to compare it to something, there's really no vocals. It's all instrumental. It's not really like guitar based drums. It's mostly like effects and stuff like you'd experience in a horror movie. A lot of weird like buzzing and synths and stuff. Mostly electronic. But they'll have a track where it's like a lot of like background, kind of like this low grinding machinery, and off in the distance you hear like somebody screaming, but you can't really pick up what's going on. It's just fucking creepy. It's kind of hard to describe because it's not really kind of music I talk about with a lot of people because nobody listens to it except for a few close friends. But yeah, there's just some stuff on this that is fucking creepy as shit. Like I'll put this on in the car driving around, like coming back from a show like New York City. Once I get out of the city, because I always live in Hudson Valley, start getting up into the darker countryside areas. I have this kind of stuff on, like this bands like this. Man, you like checking to make sure no one's in the back seat of your car. Like it's that kind of stuff,
All right, I gotta listen. I'm sold. Ryan is totally selling me.
It's not like I want to say though, like a horror movie soundtrack kind of flows along, kind of like like the Goblin stuff. This is pretty fucking harsh. Like it really like as soon as you hear it, you're gonna be like, okay, no thanks, that's it. Nope, had enough. Fuck Scout. Had enough of that. But if you get into it, if you get past that threshold, it's really fucking creepy. And yeah, I'll put this on, and like it makes the skin stand up. The hair stand up on my skin. So I had to pick it for that reason because it is the creepiest fucking album I own. They have a lot of albums. They were all good. They broke up many years ago. But yeah, they were right down in a good old Nyack, New York, like 20 minutes from us. So I'm going with these fucking sickos. And I won't even say the song titles on
sickos they are
on the channel because some of it's a little inappropriate. So
yeah,
I'll just leave it at that. And
oh God, now I'm intrigued. Now I want to go look it up.
It's well, I don't want to. Yeah, I'll just leave it at that. Everybody can just look it up.
I'm pulling it up right now. No.
He wants to be able to monetize this episode.
Torture Technologies.
I'll bring that up again in case anybody's feeling adventurous, and I'm sure a lot of people are going to look it up and be like, "Man, fuck you."
That's a weirdo. So we already know.
Immediate reaction to like 99% of people because it's not metal or rock. I'll just give you a heads up. It's its own little universe of shit. So, but it is the creepiest album I own, so I had to pick it.
It's even creepier than the Great Mayhem De Mysterious Satanis.
Well, I don't want to go off, Steve, but I tell you what, I saw Mayhem play that album at St. Vitus. They just did it. There was no opening. The room was like pitch black, and it was fucking awesome. I
saw the same tour, and I also saw that in a small club over in Long Island, but
Oh, okay,
And-
so you know, yeah. It
nothing
was
more
the-
intimidating than Attila Caesar on stage. He's one of the creepiest guys. I wanted to mention him at least.
Oh,
tonight.
Well, they all came up in like black robes and it was very minimal lighting.
Wow.
And
I
that's a
mean,
creepy
sometimes he
album.
dresses as a tree,
He did dress as a tree, but it wasn't that tour. It was a couple.
but yeah, I mean, sometimes he does. He does all different theatrical stuff. So he's one of the legends.
Attila can do whatever the fuck he wants. You know?
He sure can.
Some of these titles are pretty brutal, Ryan. Holy shit.
That's why I didn't want to say nothing out loud. I'm like, you know what? If anybody's
Oh,
feeling
she's
it-
looking it up
God,
already.
like,
You're gonna give Sydney nightmares along with Pete here in my clown voice.
well, it was
around
funny because I
people.
started to read them and I was like, oh, these aren't that bad. And then I got to like the one really long one and I was like, oh, okay.
Oh, that's I shouldn't say that out. Yeah.
I know.
Creepy as shit. I tell you what, it's fucking creepy. So I think it
Oh,
qualifies.
that's funny.
There you go. All right, Steve, your final choice for the evening.
I'm gonna go with someone that needs to be mentioned. Name's Rob Zombie. I'd say hell. I'm gonna go with. I mean, I could go with something from White Zombie. I'm gonna go with Hellbilly Deluxe. I mean, when you think of Halloween, you think of horror. Again, the guy's done horror movies. He's done everything else. You know, you could also think of Danzig this time of year too. I guess when Misfits, which we mentioned earlier, but like Call the Zombie, Dragula, Living Dead Girl, Spook Show Baby, How to Make a Monster, Meet the Creeper. I mean, to me, it goes with this season. If I was DJing a Halloween party, which I've done in the past, Rob Zombie's on the playlist, the Misfits are on the playlist, Typo Negatives on the playlist. So kind of went by that. I kind of went more in that vein with tonight's program. That's why they kept the light stuff, so it'd be creepy in the black light room. But I'm gonna go with Rob Zombie for my number one. I do have a couple honorable mentions if I'm allowed.
Yeah, go ahead.
No.
I'm gonna go with Grim Reaper, See You in Hell. Thought that was another one that kind of, especially when it came out, was from that area. I'm gonna mention the Misfits, of course. I'm gonna mention Famous Monsters because to me, I really listened to that album a lot, and controversy aside and all with whatever goes on with the vocals from that time period. But I really love that album. I love all the themes, all the horror and the B-movie stuff. You know, I also, you know, the old Misfits on Halloween, of course. Halloween Keeper the Seven Keys Part 1, of course, just for the 13-minute opus of Halloween. Running around, masquerade, grab your mask and don't be late. Remember that video and when it came out, a King Diamond Fatal Portrait. And I thought of Alice Cooper, and I knew that Sydney was going to pick one, but how do you not talk about Alice Cooper? I'm going to pick the live album, the Alice Cooper Show.
Really?
And Vincent, I just had that 8-track as a kid, and I just loved the Vincent Price and the Black Widow, and I don't know. I always had that album.
Welcome to My Nightmare was right up there too. I was like, but that's kind
Oh
of
yeah, for sure. And my goofy one is the Munsters. Play the Munsters, and it's actually the Munsters back in the day, or of course the TV show we all know and love. But there was a band that they put together that played creepy like surf rock music, and I discovered them a few years ago when I had Mr. Fitzpatrick in my shop. And of course, you can get it on vinyl and everything else. I wish I had the prop. I didn't. I'm so bad. I don't have props. But the Munsters, and it has all these creepy like surf punk rock songs. So, and now I'm done.
I got one honorable mention. Just one.
All right.
This is an album that when I was like 15 years old, creeped the shit out of me. Now I don't know. It might be my favorite album of all time. When I was 15, I thought this was genuinely fucking creepy, and that is fucking
Yeah.
Hellboy.
Pretty evil and creepy.
The way it's recorded, it's like very cavernous and like just tons of reverb and echo. It just sounds like it's like recorded in hell. Like it's perfect for the album. But yeah, when I was 15, this was fucking creepy as shit. It was pretty scary. So I gotta go with a good old Slayer on that.
Nice.
nice.
I would think any of the first couple of Venom albums too are
Yeah.
good.
Oh yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. Let's mention them for sure tonight. Yeah.
So cool. Good choices, everyone. This was fun. So wow, way under an hour today.
Woo! You can go get some rest.
I can go get to sleep, I guess, now.
Yeah.
So,
Don't eat bad food next time, buddy. I did it
Man,
last
I don't-
week,
I
I
don't know
guess.
what it
I don't know,
was.
we'll see what around.
to do with that.
I don't know what it was.
We got you done quick, so.
Yeah, which is cool, but I'm glad we were able to do this. So this is basically the extension of our spooky albums for Halloween season show that just ended yesterday. So you got one more day here, but you get to hear some picks from someone else besides me. So I want to thank Chris and Sydney and Ryan and Steve, otherwise known as the Clown, and the Thor, the Norse god, the mighty god of thunder. Visit us on the web at www.seatranquility.org. We're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, of course, we're here on YouTube all the damn time. Coming up tomorrow, hopefully tomorrow, we got In the Prague Seat tomorrow, and all stuff the rest of the week, so stay tuned for that. For Chris, Ryan, Sydney, and Steve, I am Pete. Good night, everybody. Thanks for watching.
Good night, everyone. We're here all the time. All the damn time. I hear.